JL's Gaming Podcast, where we talk about the rise of Nintendo and what this great gaming franchise has in store for us in the future of gaming. And of course, the country from which it was born, Japan. I am not Judah, and I am not Roan, as you can tell. It's me, Eli Turp. I'm back again. It's been a while. Doing a solo episode today. Judah is away with family. I don't know where, but he's away. All over the place. He's having a great time. I'm sure I'll tell you about it next week. And Roan is unfortunately also unavailable, so I've had to step in and see what I can do, see what news we have. If you're wondering how I've been alright. Not much been really going on in my life. Personally, I suppose I'm just marching on, continuing as per usual. Been playing Persona again recently, and Yakuza, as has Judah, but I'll talk about that later. But yeah, I don't know how to be playing games. I recently loaded up my 2DS, my modded 2DS, and kind of just flicked through the screens, the backgrounds, the themes, and enjoyed their, enjoyed the atmosphere that they gave. Because I do miss it sometimes. I do miss having those old Nintendo products add character and add life, modded or unmodded, either way. They're really good, so I do miss them sometimes. It was nice to go back and have a look at it. I did actually sell my DS games, which, I don't regret, because I can just download them off of the H shop. But, I do wish I didn't have to, but, some money's money, so I did need the money. And some of those games were, good money. So anyway, I got some, I sold my DS games, but I have been re-downloading them on the 2DS H shop, so it's all good, it's okay. Right, on to some news, just to run you through what's been going on in the last week. There's been a lot actually going on, like some new game information, so a lot of Zelda things as well. Let's start with, okay, so Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. It's one of the new games that was, I forget when it was announced, a while ago, not too long ago. That was most recent game, but this is the first Zelda game to actually be played as Zelda. You don't play as Link, you are Zelda. It makes sense. The Legend of Zelda, and for once you are Zelda, so it's cool. It's in a chibi art style, which I'm not a huge fan of, but I know some people like it, so it's kind of a classic Zelda experience, but this time actually with Zelda. Anyway, it's an article here. Zelda Echoes of Wisdom trailer introduces us to the still world and dungeons. So there was more information. A new trailer came out recently, as you will hear. Nintendo has dropped a brand new trailer for The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, and we finally know a little bit more about those rifts that cover Hyrule. The Still World is a brand new location that probably reminds you of the Dark World by its name alone, but it's a little bit more than that. In these rifts, Hyrule is initially torn apart with people and objects floating in midair, frozen in time forever. Depending on where Zelda enters a rift, each section of the Still World will have a unique feature. Also, Zelda will need to dive into dungeons and use her echoes to navigate and fight enemies. From the screenshots I can see, you can't, so look it up if you want to, but from the screenshots I can see, it reminds me a lot of A Link Between Worlds, which I liked. I like the two worlds, and you enter at different points to access different areas. I do enjoy that, and that was good. I do apologise by the way, my voice is a bit coarse today. I believe I am ill, which is not favourable, but it is what it is. There's just one more thing. Just in case Zelda's many echoes aren't enough, she'll eventually pick up a sword which turns her into what looks like a copy of Link. A sword doesn't last forever, and Zelda will need to replenish his energy by picking up orbs in the Still World. In terms of character, Dampé is back, and he makes automatons for Zelda, which she can use to help her fight. They'll be destroyed if they take too much damage, so use them wisely. Again, this reminds me a lot of A Link Between Worlds. I like this. I do like the look of it, you know. If this game was on, like, 3DS, like, from the 2DS era or whatever it is, I would think, yeah, this is great. It is a classic Zelda game with Zelda fonts. So they're kind of drip feeding us information about it, you know, through trailers and whatnot. So that is the first mini news. I kind of have broken it down to many little stories. The next Zelda related news, which some of you may be interested in if you are interested in the lore. Zelda timeline featuring Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom has been spotted. So there's actually an official timeline. People were always contemplating where these two games fit in the timeline because it's very confusing. It's very confusing. The lore is the lore's messy, but to say the least, and it splits into different paths for different timelines. But they have now. I mean, I've seen the picture on Twitter, and they are confirmed to be completely separate. These two games are in their own worlds, whatever you want to call it, in their own timeline. So I guess that clears some things up and it makes more sense. So let me read this. Over the life of the Zelda series, the timeline has been a massive talking point with all sorts of information and discoveries shared. With this in mind, it's become the big talking point this weekend after a graphic was cited at Nintendo Live 2024. Nintendo fan site Vux is on the ground at this event in Sydney, Australia, and it's taken a photo of an official graphic focused on the history of the Legend of Zelda series. Notably, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are completely separate in this graphic from the hero defeated and the hero is triumphant timelines. So you can find this on, which is where I found it. I found it on X, Twitter, X, whatever we call it. Or you can just look it up. Official timeline, 2024, Zelda. And you can see it all finally on display by Nintendo officially themselves. So, thank you. And maybe that will help people understand with their movie theories as well, because we don't know what that's going to be about yet. So, huzzah, there's good news. Good news, we have some information. Now, on to some maybe slightly less good news. Nintendo runs out of replacement parts for new 3DS, ends repairs in Japan. So these old consoles that we love are further dying by the fact that they not only closed down the software and the systems and all the online things, they now don't even have the parts to fix it anymore. So if it's broken, unless you can find someone who has it, it's very likely going to stay broken. Following an announcement, Nintendo would stop 3DS repairs in Japan. The company's support service has now revealed it's run out of parts necessary to repair the new Nintendo 3DS in this location. According to a rough translation, this means it's no longer accepting repairs for this particular unit as of 28th of August 2024, so it's already happened in Japan. Repairs for the new 3DS have also been discontinued in other locations around the world. On the plus side, repairs for the 2DS and 3DS XL in Japan are still available until Nintendo's stock runs dry. But who knows when Nintendo are going to run out of those two. It is a shame. It is a shame that these old lovable consoles are dying now, even because they simply can't. They simply can't repair them. It is a pity for sure, but what can we do? What can we do? I say make the most of it for now, and if you know a good repair shop near you, keep a note of it, keep a good relation with them, because you might have to go by and in your DS and pray they know how to do it. So it could be worth looking around if you have any issues with your 2DS or DS. If you have any issues, find somewhere that you think might know how to fix them, and fix them all you can, So that is what I would recommend.
Sorry to interrupt the episode. I'm Roan, the co-host of this podcast. If you're a regular listener to our podcast, you would know that me and Judah love to hear from our community. Every single week, we read out your comments and questions on the podcast. One viewer wrote in telling us how they found their wife directly through the popular 3DS game, Pokemon X. Bloody hell, you don't hear that every day. You can become that viewer by writing into our podcast email, jrsgaming135@gmail.com. That is jrsgaming135@gmail.com. I know all of you hate ads, so on with the show.
The next mini-story, Yakuza Kiwami brings the Dragon of Dojima to the Switch for the first time. This is announced on the Nintendo Direct. So, file this under an unexpected port. Yakuza Kiwami is coming to Nintendo Switch, and it's out on 24th of October 2024. This is the first time the Yakuza, now known as the Like a Dragon series, is appearing on a Nintendo console. Yakuza Kiwami originally launched on PS4 in 2016 and is a remake of the very first Yakuza game, which came out on PS2. As the first game in the series, yes, we know about Yakuza 0, you follow Kazuma Kiryu, a member of the Tojo clan, who takes the blame for his boss's murder. After 10 years in prison, he returns to find that his clan is in crisis. That phrase will make sense if you played any of the games. This franchise has exploded in popularity in recent years, and while games 0 through 6 are action-based games, the two most recent mainline games are turn-based RPGs, the Like a Dragon ones. Check out reviews at Push Square, etc. if you want to play the game. Yes, I agree. You should always check out your reviews before you play the game. But yes, Yakuza Kiwami, which is the original but remastered, coming to the Switch. Judah recently has been streaming Yakuza 0, as per my recommendation to him, and he seems to be enjoying it, and he's fun to me fans from it. But he's streaming that, I think every week. He's aiming to do that, a few days a week. So if you are interested in the Yakuza series, it's story driven, it's emotional, but it's also very silly, very funny, action. It's a bit of everything, but it is one of a kind, truly. And Yakuza 0 is very, very good. That's what he's playing now. And then Yakuza Kiwami comes after that. And I'm assuming he may play it. Maybe even on the Switch, now that it's coming out, So we will see, but yes, this is the unexpected announcement. I saw some reactions to the Direct, and they were like, huh? Because no one really thought this was going to happen. So exciting, I suppose, for any of you Yakuza fans out there, like me and Judah. So, the Sonic 3 movie was announced, and it has Shadow in it, and it looks good. Again, Jim Carrey returning to play Eggman. He said he'd retire after the second one, but I think maybe he just meant retire from other movies. But he's still here, which I do appreciate. Right. Sonic 3 movie director reflects on a full circle Shadow the Hedgehog moment. I picked this because this was an interesting moment for me personally as well. I find it quite interesting. So, in case you missed it, the Sonic the Hedgehog 3 movie trailer has officially been released, confirming that the John Wick, Matrix and Cyberpunk 2077 star Keanu Reeves is the voice of Shadow, which I was not prepared for, but yes, Keanu Reeves is Shadow, so that's cool. While the third movie is already a massive milestone for everyone involved in the live-action series, this upcoming release also marks a very special moment for the director and Sonic fan Jeff Fowler. In a brief post on social media, he mentioned how one of his first jobs in the VFX industry was actually animating Shadow. The official Sonic account on social media even described its achievement 20 years later as a full circle moment. Here is the tweet or X post. Jeff Fowler says, one of my first jobs in the VFX industry was animating this amazing character for this first Sega standalone video game. 20 years later, I could not feel more honoured to bring Shadow to the big screen in Sonic movie 3. So, actually in the original Shadow the Hedgehog movie, the 2005, very old, not many people even really remember it, but it's not a great game, but it's still a classic. But I had no idea that he was the animator for that, He animated Shadow 20 years ago, 2 decades ago, all that time. And here he is, directing the third movie with Shadow. As a Sonic fan, I think that's brilliant that he has got to direct these movies as a Sonic fan. And it's a great as the movie itself said, it's a full circle moment that he's managed to come back and he gets to animate him once again. I think that's lovely. Bringing the character to life throughout all this time. I'm sure it's well appreciated by all the Sonic fans. A little rumour I have. So Sakurai has been looking back on Smash Bros. Brawl and things like that, and their little game modes and whatnot, and this has sparked some debates about whether or not he's going to start working on the next Smash game soon. I reckon so. If the new Switch is coming out, let's say late 2025, hopefully, I pray, there has to be some games to come up with it, or at least soon afterwards. We can expect a Mario Kart game, Animal Crossing game, and hopefully a Smash Bros game. So, Sakurai, doing some digging on his old games, making some notes. It seems like he's getting ready, or he's already doing it. He's making his next game, which could be the finale. I wouldn't blame him if it is the last one, but it could be the finale. But it's going to be brilliant, and I'm very much looking forward to it, as Smash Bros. Is one of my favourite game series, and Brawl especially is my favourite. So the fact that he's looking at Brawl for what Brawl did well means we could get a Subspace Emissary type story mode, but we will have to see and not get our hopes up, because we got our hopes up with Ultimate and then, it never actually happened. So we do need to be a little bit more, I don't know, careful, So yes, and I believe another piece of another rumoured news was simply that the next console is going to rival Sony and Microsoft's consoles, not in the normal sense that, they are rivals, but in the sense that they are going to try and take some games away from them and put more of their own unique games out into the wider market. So maybe some more less child-friendly Nintendo games. And if this console is going to be powerful and brilliant, then this could work in their favour very much so. Which I think is a good thing, because, the whole battle between Sony and Microsoft, Xbox, PlayStation, it's been going on for so long, and it's the same thing. And Xbox are losing as well, so I'm an Xbox person. I would like Xbox to kind of pick themselves back up a bit and do better. So maybe if Nintendo comes in and kicks Sony, yeah, they'll indirectly kick Xbox too, but it's better than Sony kicking Xbox, so either way, it's good news for Nintendo fans. Nintendo fans always seem to win, at least with the games and the consoles, not with the company and the lawsuits, but everything else about it is great indeed. That is all the news I have for you this week. Just a few little stories to keep you up to date, an episode to keep your minds thinking, if you like to think about Nintendo products and whatnot. But yeah, Studio shall return next week, I'm assuming, and he will tell you all about his lovely trip, as I cannot do that for him. And perhaps Roan will be there too, hopefully. So I haven't got a question this week, by the way, because I do not have a question this week, so my apologies. But again, next week, back to normal. Short and sweet. Here you go. Yeah. Please send in your questions and comments to jsgaming135@gmail.com. Please subscribe or follow us on whatever platform you're listening from, and leave us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts, as it will help us out greatly and get the podcast around. Our socials are in the description: Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, website and Discord. Until then, it is a goodbye from me.